Have you ever heard of a reverse exorcism? That's when the devil tells the priest to get out of the child. What's up, weirdos? Scott here. Thanks again for visiting the channel. As always, I appreciate it. If this is your first time to the channel, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy the content. And today, we're doing a quick unboxing on an American-made Microtech. I intended on unboxing this guy on camera, but I was a little bit leery about the purchase just because I got this from EDC Lifestyle, which I've never actually heard of that place before. I'm sure it's been around for a while and they've got great customer service and all that stuff, but I was just a little bit nervous just because this is an extremely hard to find knife right now, and it was just sitting there. I will say, however, this is one of the lesser known retailers that sells Microtech, is authorized to sell Microtech knives. But when I received the package, there was also the name of the person who sent this to me. The name indicated to me that this person is not American, so I just got nervous. But I opened it up, and it's what I wanted it to be. I'm so excited, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and go open this guy up for you guys. Again, I got this from EDC Lifestyle. I will link that in the description for you guys. But this is going to be a very exciting unboxing today, guys. I can't wait to show this to you. So, without further ado, we have an American-made Microtech here. You got the American flag right there. And then we are looking at the RAM-LOK Amphibian Fluted G10 Black Stonewashed Standard. Now, this knife is a custom Microtech that you can buy. But they released one in the RAM-LOK version, which everybody's super excited about because this is just, as you can see, this is a beautiful knife. It's such an awesome knife. And this guy is just an absolute beast of a knife. So again, you've got fluted G10, multi-directional, which I love. I think that's absolutely gorgeous. You know, this looks just like the Microtech RAM-LOK Stitch and the MSI, but it's obviously a little bit larger than the Stitch. I'll show you that in just a minute here, but I'll show you the blade first. Bazinga! Look at that guy. Now, if I'm being perfectly honest, I do not like recurves all that much, but there's something about this knife that speaks to me. It might be the size, it might be the fact that it doesn't just have standard thumb studs on it, it might be the RAM-LOK on it. I don't know for sure, but there's just something about this knife that speaks to me. You're looking at about a 4-inch blade here with a just over a 5-inch handle, so you've got about a 9.15 inch knife here, which again, that's going to be a bigger knife for most people, but the action on this guy is absolutely phenomenal. When you pull this RAM-LOK back, you got to make sure you got your fingers out of the way because this guy's going to fall shut, no problem whatsoever. And the opening action on it is fantastic as well. It's got a little bit of lock stick to it, but I'm sure that's going to go away on its own. The blade has a stonewash finish on it. You've got a flat that carries out to about, I don't know, 30% the length of the blade here, and then you've got a swedge that carries out all the way to the tip. You've got a little bit of milling here for a thumb position for you to put your thumb, and just a little bit of jimping, which you don't need a whole lot of jimping on this knife. What's the word? The fluting on the G10 is absolutely very well done, and it provides plenty of traction when you're holding the knife. Plus, you've got a little bit of jimping here, a little bit of jimping down here on the back spacer. Sorry, I don't have that in focus. So you got a little bit of jimping here back on the back spacer, which almost kind of looks like a floating back spacer, which to me looks really, really nice. You do have a different pocket clip on this guy. You've got, it's kind of like a gunmetal gray finish on this pocket clip, and it also says Amphibian, obviously. Date of birth is 11/20/23, and this was made in the United States of America. You do have a reversible pocket clip area here, which does have a filler tab, just like the MSI and the Microtech Stitch. in this, just the blade is the star of this show, in my opinion. I love the way they have the milling done on this blade. It's very attractive to me. I know I like grind lines, but you know, milling on a steel blade looks just as nice to me as grind lines do. I do prefer grind lines over milling lines, but these look absolutely fantastic. Obviously, you've got the Microtech symbol here on the front of the blade, and the M390, which is still just M390, just got a little bit more corrosion resistance and a little bit more edge retention. Here's the non-show side of the blade. You do not have a screw hole there for the thumb stud. I've heard from a couple of different people that you're going to get kind of like a 50-50 on this guy. Sometimes the screw will be on the front, sometimes the screw will be on the back. That's not a big deal to me. I might change it up at some point just for shits and gigs, but there's really no reason to do that. It looks just fine no matter how you have that facing. There you have the RAM-LOK with the little button that they've got, and plenty of milling there to give you traction on your thumb and forefinger when you're operating it. This is just the kind of I don't know if you want to call it like the axis lock part or whatever you want to call this part. You also have the coil spring in there, which is better than Omega springs in my opinion, but I've never had an Omega spring break on me before. I have heard that it's happened. There's just the only thing that I would say about this knife that could be done better is there's a hell of a lot of hardware on this thing. You've got I believe 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, you've got 12 T8 screws on this guy, which I think is kind of a missed opportunity. You know, I understand that, you know, when you make press fit parts or when you make parts that just go into the G10, there is a chance that they're going to be a little bit loose and might have some rattling, or the knife won't be put together quite as well. What is that? Oh, I'll get that off of there later. But I just feel like 12 screws for this thing is a little bit ridiculous. The fact that the pocket clip here is inset into the scales. See if I can get that to, yeah. So you can see that more than half of that filler tab is down underneath, or not underneath, but down inside of the G10. So there's really no need for 2 screws here in my opinion, but I understand why they did it. You know, just in case it would still be a little bit loose or, you know, something like that, it would cause a lot of people to have a serious problem with this knife. So I can understand why they used as much hardware as they did. I just kind of wish that wasn't necessary. But it's not the end of the world. That's a nitpick, 100% for show. I don't care all that much, I guess is what I'm trying to say. A little bit more jimping down here on the bottom of the scale, and then you've got a little bit of jimping right here where your finger goes. You can carry this either in your standard hammer grip, or you can choke up on it a little bit. You do have enough of a sharpening choil here to be able to put your finger up there to the first knuckle, and you've got that little area there that you can rest the thumb on. The bulk of this knife is my favorite part of it. It's a very, I don't want to say hefty or weighty because it's not very heavy. It's only about 6 ounces, maybe 5.98 ounces or something like that. I'll show you guys on the full comprehensive review when I do that, but it's not a very heavy knife, but it fills the hand very, very well. It's very comfortable holding it in the standard hammer grip. It's very comfortable choked up, and just the way this your thumb is able to fit on this blade, it makes it for a very comfortable cutting experience as far as I could tell so far. The way they did the milling on this G10 is very, very well done. Let me see if I can show you here. There's a liner inside of here, but it only goes up to about the first, there you go. Yeah, it only goes up to about the first screw right here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It goes up to this screw right here. So the liners go all the way down that way. And you can see here that the milling on the G10 is much, much thinner than it is up here. I'm sorry, much thinner up here than it is down here, which that's fine. That's why they have the steel liners inside of here, so there's no play or bend or anything like that in the G10 scales. Past that, however, it is much thicker, so you don't have any bending or anything like that when you squeeze the knife. So it's very solid. This back spacer here causes a lot of or doesn't cause, but it provides a lot of stability and a lot of strength as far as I can tell. This is reversible, obviously. I don't know if I said that already, but just that blade is absolutely gorgeous, and the size of this knife is amazing to me. You guys know that I like bigger knives. I always have. I always will. I don't mind smaller knives, but this one for sure is right up my alley. Now, I'm also going to compare these to the MSI and the Stitch just for fun, so you guys can see those. The MSI is going to be just a hair shorter than the Amphibian. The Stitch, however, is going to be quite a bit smaller than the Amphibian, which everybody already knows this. It's not something new, but I absolutely love this set of knives now. This is my, obviously, my RAM-LOK collection, but I'm so happy to have the Amphibian in my collection. I've been looking at the Amphibian for just forever. I know that I've seen a bunch of custom amphibians on the market and everything, and I've always wanted to buy one. Obviously, I can't afford the custom versions, and even if I could, I don't agree with the way Anthony Marfione prices his knives. I just don't. But you know, he makes them. He can charge them whatever he wants for them. That's not the end of the world. But it's nice that Microtech is putting these knives out that you can get custom versions of for a lot of money, but now you can get them for a relatively reasonable price. The MSI itself was $250, which I think that's a good price for this knife for what you're getting. Nice thick G10, M390 blade steel, a very large blade on the MSI, and this RAM-LOK is just absolutely fantastic. Some people have been talking about failures with this knife. I feel like anybody who causes this lock to fail, in my opinion, you're doing something wrong with it, because this is a very strong lock. It should not fail on you. Anybody doing the spine whack test that gets this thing to fail, I feel like, you know, if you're hitting the knife against something that hard, it's definitely something you should be using another tool for, in my opinion. Yes, this is a very strong lock. Any lock will fail. The cold steel fins there are going to start getting all pissed off when I said that, but any lock will fail if you put enough pressure on it. If you start doing spine whack tests and things like that, these are things that are not reasonable expectations to have on a folding knife. It's just not. And you know, why are you doing something like that with a knife where you're slamming the blade down on the spine of the blade to see how much pressure you can put on the lock before it fails? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, moving on. The RAM-LOK Stitch, I've wanted a Stitch forever. I just didn't want the automatic version. I've always wanted a manual version of the Stitch, and when they came out with that, I was finally able to get a hold of this guy. So happy. I'm glad to have a Borka design, but I would never buy an actual custom Borka knife. They're just too expensive. They start at like $2,000 or $3,000, and homie, don't play that. So yeah, this is the MSI Stitch, This is the RAM-LOK Stitch. This is the MSI. This is the Amphibian. And I'm so glad to have this collection in my collection now. But I was really excited to show this off to you guys. I saw this online on Thursday, and saw that it was available, so I ran and asked my wife for permission to buy it, and she actually gave it to me. Imagine that. But yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to show you how this guy works with disengagement and deployment and all that stuff. Opening this with the thumb is very easy. These thumb studs are absolutely fantastic. I don't know if you can call these thumb studs, but I like them. I like them a lot. I didn't think that I would, just because I've never had anything other than a traditional thumb stud on all of my knives. But this thing grabs a hold of your thumb with no problem whatsoever. As you can see, disengagement is not a problem, and it just falls very easily right back down into the handle. And the detent on this guy is tuned perfectly, in my opinion. I'm sorry, this is not really a detent. It's just the blade riding against this little lock guy thing here. I don't know why I'm having trouble articulating my words tonight. But yeah, it's just the blade pushing that thing out of the way. There's not really a detent on this guy, but it just shoots out no problem, just mostly because of the weight of this blade. but it's a very nice knife. I think this guy is absolutely gorgeous. This is my new favorite Microtech in my collection, mostly because of the size, but I really love the bidirectional fluting on the G10 scale here, and I just love the way this knife is made all the way around for sure. I think that's it for now. Until the comprehensive reviews, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. And stay up, y'all. Take it easy. Bye.